So today the short tutorial will illustrate how to install, launch, and start using the TI-Toolbox. We'll go over both the desktop app and the command line approach, a touch about the prerequisites, and a quick start operation. So create a quick slide. So we have two prerequisites that we need for the TI-Toolbox. One is Docker, which is an application that allows us to ship services, whatever that they may be, to any operating system without much worrying about how it's going to interact. So we know that whatever the application is, if it's a FreeSurfer, SIMNIBS, TI-Toolbox, and others, we know that the way we package them, the way we set them up, is the way the user will receive them. And Docker will have to be running. It's very easy to install, and once you install and configure the settings, the resource allocation, you can really forget about it. If you're using macOS or Windows, it might look a little differently. For Linux, you can simply use the Docker engine, you don't need a desktop. And the second prerequisite is an X11 server. So macOS ships with X Quartz. You may have to downgrade if it gives you problems. I found that this version is stable across different machines. For Windows, you will need this. It's pretty easy to get, and Linux, you won't have any problem with this. It comes native. So once you have these two, you will need to decide if you want to use the desktop app for the TI-Toolbox or the command line. Each platform has a compiled version you will need to match, and we will do a quick demonstration of what it looks like. If you want to use the command line, you will need to download these files locally and make sure that they are next to each other. In terms of environment configuration, when you are ready to launch the TI-Toolbox either way, you will need to provide it with the scope, with the target of where your data can be found, because this is the only exposure Docker will have to your system. So it will not see any other files that are outside of your project directory. And the way we require the users to set up their project directory is a pretty opinionated way, but standardized way that can be reproducible, can be shared, can be collaborated with, and it's called bids. Where under your project directory you'll have some subjects, you have source data, derivatives, and so on. And if you want to learn more about bids, which is brain imaging data structures, you can go to the website or you can read the publication. But what's nice about TI-Toolbox is that it does most of the heavy lifting for you. The only requirement from the user is to set up the project directory with source data and some DICOM. And the bare minimum will be a T1 weighted stack of images, or potentially also T2 and DTI. Everything else regarding simulations and structural imaging will be created for you as you go about using the TI-Toolbox, and you can also include other elements, but this is for your own projects and investigation. We don't require behavioral or EEG data to be present for the operations of the TI-Toolbox. So this is it. We should do quick demonstration, I think. So let's go to the desktop, and we can create demo install. Okay. We'll go to the demo install, and as we said, the only thing we need to set up is a source data. And if we go in, we will need subject, so let's say subject 101, and in it the bare minimum, as said, is a T1 weighted scan. So if I go back, this is what it would look like. So I will open another window, and I will take some DICOMs, and I will copy them to the T1 weighted subdirectory. So this is the only thing we need to play with the TI-Toolbox. Now, you can also use standardized inputs like Ernie or MIDA or MNI or whatever you have available, and the desktop application ships with the MNI and Ernie for convenience. The CLI does not. So once we have that, we want to decide how do we want to launch the TI-Toolbox, with command line or desktop. So we will start with the desktop application. So we'll go to the latest release, and we see here some hyperlinks. I have an Apple Silicon chip, so I will do this. I'll go back, and it notifies me that it finished. I'll open it, and it comes ready to be used. So the only thing you need to do is to move it to your applications. I have something, I'll replace it, close, and that's it. You have it ready on your system. I will now open the TI-Toolbox. I will say yes, that's okay, and we have it ready. Now I will copy this path that we for the project we just created, and I'll replace it. So this is again the context, the exposure or the communication channel that we set between the container and our local project. So now I'll go ahead and launch. And here we go. It recognized that this is a new project, not necessarily a new user, but every new project that you will start will give you this welcome message. I don't want to see this anymore, so I'll say okay. And you'll also see that it did some initialization So it created some directories for you. This actually should not be here, and this should be TI-Toolbox. That will be fixed. Okay. So if we look at our graphical user interface, we'll see the different tabs, and you'll see that these are optimization, simulator, analyzer. They have no available input. And why is that? Because we need to do some one-time pre-processing for every subject. And to illustrate that, I will go ahead and I will do the initial conversion from DICOM-to-NIfTI. That is then fed into the recon all if you choose to do the reconstruction of resurfer, and the SIMNIBS charm operation. And if you click on all together, that's fine too, and it will know the order in which the operation should be taking place. For now, I will just do the DICOM-to-NIfTI, which is always the first step, and then the SIMNIBS M2M folder. I will do run pre-processing. It will show me what I decided, one subject. If you have multiple subjects, you can do multiple subjects at the same time, and I'll do yes. DICOM started. It created the anatomy folder. It finished, so completed very quickly, and now it will do charm, which will take about an hour depending on how powerful your system is. And to see what's going on, either we can go into debug mode, which should start printing some output for us, and we can also look at the system monitor, where we can see the increase on CPU load. So I see the print does not happen. Maybe it's a bug, and we'll have to deal with it. Okay, I will stop it for now, and we will exit the graphical user interface. Now we can exit this. That will always sit on the side here. Okay, so the other option we have for launching TI-Toolbox, if you work on remote machines, if you are more comfortable with the command line, we can use those two scripts. So in order to do that, we'll go ahead and download them. And for purposes of today, we can simply move them here. Doesn't matter where they are, they just need to be one next to each other. So we will go to terminal, and we need to go to where those are. So I'll go to users, user desktop, and then what do you call it, demo. Oh, wait, found it. Great. So once you're here, you'll call the loader, and you will want to pass it again like we did with the desktop application, the same path. So if we go here on Windows, we can simply copy the path. You can do the same on Windows and paste. And we are in it. And then we can do a graphic called the GUI. And here we are. Now, because earlier we started the SIMNIMS operation and it actually created the M2M folder for you, it just started, but it did not actually finish. Those tools recognize it because they're looking for that directory, and they suggest this for you. But as you see, because the operation did not complete, it's screaming at you saying, no, I'm not ready. Please finish the operation. Okay. Now, let's exit. And to explain a little bit behind the scenes of what happens instead in terms of different versions, we can call Docker and look at the available images we have on our system. And you'll see that I have version 2.2.3 on my system. You can have multiple versions, and if you are using the command line, then you can jump between different versions simply by changing the number here. This is a little bit more advanced and maybe unnecessary, but I think it's good to know. So when you have a version on your system already, it's very quick to launch an active container, to launch the TI-Toolbox. But what happens if you don't have it? So I will go ahead and remove this image. So RMI to remove an image, and if I will then list again my images, it will be gone. And that's okay. So if you don't have a desired version of your system and you're trying to call it, it will recognize it, it will check if it's available online, and if so, it will pull it to your local machine. So let's try to do it again. And I'm calling the loader, and it remembers, it will always remember the last path you gave your loader. So I will go ahead and simply press enter, and it says, okay, I actually don't have it, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the required Docker images, the version that we want and we do not have locally. If you've had some versions before, it may use some caching, so it says a few things already exist, so I'm going to ignore them. I'm going to download and extract the missing pieces. So depending if you've used a certain version before and on your internet connection, then it may take shorter or longer to do that. And here we go, it took about a minute. And if we do a GUI, we have it available. Good. If you've used multiple versions and you do Docker images, please. Oh no, I'm inside, so we need to go out. Okay, you have used, if you have multiple images, then all of them will be here. And I recommend not having more than 2 to keep your system clean, as these images tend to be quite big. So I would recommend keeping the latest and the one you like the most, or that worked best for you and you are comfortable with. And again, to remove an image, you do RMI, copy the image ID, and you can remove it that way. That's it. Thank you. Good luck. Reach out with any questions.